Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, really looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I do have a different tarot deck that we'll be using for each side of this connection. I've also pulled the overall theme, which we'll jump into as well. And then I have this advice deck that I'll be using in the extended reading. Any information on that extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can be swapped. So the whole reading can be reversed. So if that happens for you, just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what resonates and helps you and leave what doesn't. All right, Aries, on your side of this connection, you have we will overcome this with the world in reverse. You are stuck in a cycle with this person where I feel like they do something, I don't want to say something wrong necessarily, but they do something to hurt you or they make a mistake. And you're like, okay, like we can overcome this. Let's work through this. And then, a couple weeks, months, year goes by and the same thing happens again. You're like, okay, we can overcome this. And it just feels like you're stuck in this cycle of getting hurt over and over again, but trying your hardest to work through it, but all the while getting pretty burnt out of this cycle. Because I feel like whatever it is that's happening, like whatever this person is doing or has been doing, like it's been similar. Like it just feels like whatever it is specific to your situation, it's not like they make new mistakes. Like I feel like it's the same conversation, the same argument, the same fight over and over again. Now this person has options, are kept open with the Seven of Pentacles. So here's where I feel like the difference between these two energies lie. Is your mindset is let's do whatever we need to do to make this connection work. Like you're willing to put into it whatever you need to in order to make it a successful connection. But then this person has their options are kept open. Like they're not fully committed to this connection and doing what they need to, investing in it in the way that is needed and required from them in order to make it work. Because it does take two people to make it work. You can communicate and set boundaries and be vulnerable all day long, but if someone else isn't willing to do it, then you're kind of talking to a brick wall. So I feel like there's something going on here. The overall theme of this reading is stormy. So this has been a stormy connection. Things have not been smooth sailing. But I feel like every time one of these storms hits, you're like, it's okay, we can get through this. Like we'll overcome this. And then it just feels like you're right back to experiencing this again. And that's where that cycle is coming from. In between this connection, you both have changes will be made with the Page of Cups in reverse. So something's got to change. Like that's what I'm like with this changes will be made card. Like I feel like this is the universe saying something's got to change. Like this cycle cannot keep going on because it's affecting you in such a deep way. If we don't break our own cycles, the universe will come in and do what it needs to break that cycle for us. So I feel like that's kind of what this is saying. I don't necessarily see it as like a threat. It's just that something's got to give, something's got to change. With the Page of Cups in reverse, that can be an energy of not listening to divine guidance. It could also be this energy of emotional unavailability. That's often how I read that card. But specifically, I feel like there are changes that need to be made in this connection, but there's not really, those changes aren't being made. Let's see, because it's hard to put into words exactly what I feel that's saying. Aries side of this connection, but I feel like we'll elaborate on it throughout the reading. Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with, we will overcome this with the World in reverse. This is for Aries side of this connection. When this person has options are kept open, I don't necessarily know if that means with other people. It could mean that, but that's not the only way or the number one way that I read that at all. I just feel like when it comes to the outcome, that you're willing to work for, this person's like, oh, well, I don't know, just 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of energy, wishy-washy kind of energy. Aries side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Aries side of this connection, please. Maybe. So that first one out, Page of Cups in reverse with the Death. Oh goodness. Okay. So there's something that needs to happen. Like something needs to be done, something that you're getting divine guidance on, because this cycle has got to end. Whatever this cycle is that you're stuck in with this person, it's doing a lot of damage to you. This cycle cannot go on. Like that's just first message out of the gate. Because same Page of Cups in the middle, right? It's like, I don't know if there's messages you're not listening to, or like you're listening to your head over your heart. I don't necessarily know, but I do feel like you're not listening to the guidance that's necessary in order for certain changes to be made. Aries side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Ooh. Aries side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. That was supposed to come out at will again, but I wasn't shuffling it, so. All right, Aries side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Yeah, because you're starting to feel very hopeless. Goodness, okay. There's definitely, okay. There's this energy of looking at this person through kind of some rose-colored glasses here. I feel like you're seeing them for who you know that they can be, instead of for who they have continued to show you to be, what they've continuously shown you to be. But like deep down, it's like there's this feeling of hopelessness. Now, the Eight of Cups in reverse can also be the need to walk away from something, but hesitating to do it. I'm not saying that that's necessarily what I see, but there's something that needs to be done here. Let's get more on this cycle, though. This is for Aries side of this connection. Like, how is this connection affecting you? Because it's obvious that it's affecting you in a really deep manner. Aries side of this connection to the person they're dealing with. Eight of Swords. So there's action that you know you need to take, but there's limiting beliefs surrounding that action. So the limiting beliefs are what are keeping you. Okay, so more on this Eight of Swords. The limiting beliefs are what are keeping you from taking action. Action that you know you need to take. Doing something that you know you need to do. Making certain changes. Clarifying this Eight of Swords. I mean, the messages are coming through like loud and clear. Trying to maintain control over your stability. Okay. So, even though you're burnt out with this cycle, you're tired of how things have been, you know that things need to change, you know that there's something you need to do. I don't know if it's necessarily walking away from this or not, or at least, like, at the very least, definitely setting boundaries, standing up for what it is that you need and desire. Then you have these limiting beliefs about this. You have this idea, Aries. I'm going to be very, very blunt. You feel like you need this person. Need them to be stable, to be secure, to be happy in some way, shape, or form. And that's causing you to not make certain changes that you know you need to make because you feel like those changes could lead to you losing something you need. Like, I don't know if you rely on this person financially, or you share a home together, or you have kids together. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you that your soul's tired. This is not sustainable. This is why changes have to be made. There are changes that have to be made in this connection, because this is not something that actually, I'm gonna take this one. This is not something that can be sustained because it is completely draining you. But there's a reason why. Okay, Aries side of this connection, there's a reason why you're holding on. Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. It's like you know they're not giving you what it is that you need and deserve, but you're choosing it anyway. But there's a reason for that. Like I'm sure there's a reason. Like I'm not saying like how dumb of you. There's always a reason, right? Like, and I'm not saying your reason isn't valid. So this isn't me like, please don't feel like you need to justify your decision. I just feel like there's more going on here. Like the universe is trying to point you in a certain direction or to something that, because this isn't as good as it gets in love. You know, feeling burnt out, constantly waiting on someone to show up for you or to make the changes that you know you need them to make. You cannot force anyone to change, right? But I don't know. It feels like there's this energy of accepting so much less than what you deserve in this connection knowingly. Like, you know you deserve more than this. You're very aware of that. This isn't, yeah, because there's the world in reverse. So that's the cycle. Like, you know that you deserve more than this. But you're choosing it anyway. You're choosing it maybe because you've never felt this way before. And you think that this is as good as it can get for you. Like, you have to sacrifice, you know, getting what it is that you deserve for the sake of the connection that you feel, the way that you feel when things are good. I don't know. But there is this energy of like knowingly, you know things need to change. You know you're not happy. You know you're not fulfilled in this relationship. But like, I don't know, Aries side of this connection to the person. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I've been there. Aries side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Aries side of this connection, please. That makes more sense. Okay. The Queen of Swords in reverse and the Nine of Cups in reverse. There is this energy of believing that any outcome other than the outcome of this connection working out isn't going to be as good. Like, you being in this connection and receiving less than what you deserve is better than not having it. That's what you believe. I'm not saying that's true. And I genuinely feel, Aries, like this is as good as you think it can get for you, which is what has kept you investing for so long, despite how it is that you feel. It's like you think that if this connection doesn't work out, you're not going to be happy or fulfilled or loved. So you're like, I'm willing to sacrifice less than what I deserve because, you know, of all of these reasons that things are good. But that's those rose-colored glasses. It's like you're seeing things through the lens of what is good and ignoring what's lacking here. Aries side of the connection. And I almost feel like there's, I don't know if it's necessarily walking on eggshells, but I definitely feel like you're not speaking up about what you need here. Aries side of the connection to the person they're dealing with. There's that Empress in reverse. So there's the sacrifice. Sacrificing aspects of your worth, of your needs. there's a need to get deeper and bring this cycle to your awareness. Because like I said, you're aware that you're not getting what you deserve here. Like, you're aware of that. That's not something that is unknown to you. But yet at the same time, you're making the choice to invest in it for some reason. I feel like that's too specific of a reason to get into in a general reading, but you have your reasons, right? But those reasons are backed by limiting beliefs, feeling like you need them to be stable or need them to be happy or need them to be secure. And that's where the cycle is stemming from, is those limiting beliefs. So there's this need to get deeper, to shine a light on why this connection isn't moving past this cycle. Because a cycle doesn't just close out of the blue. A cycle closes because we close it. Because if you approach a situation with the same mindset, and you do the same things, and you have the same expectations, you're going to get the same results. And that's what a cycle is. And so there's a reason things aren't moving past this cycle. And there's a need to get in, like, try to uncover the root of that. All right. This is the person that Aries is dealing with side of the connection to Aries. Options are kept open with the Seven of Pentacles. This person's energy toward Aries, please. So you've been like committed to making this work, and this person just isn't. Not in the way that you are. Like, the effort and energy in this is very much not reciprocated. This person's energy toward Aries. Oh my gosh, this Page of Cups is stalking this reading. This person's energy toward Aries. Well, there it is. I mean, this is what emotional unavailability. Seven of Wands in reverse. They're stuck in their ways. Because there is this lack of emotional availability, whether that's because they're in another relationship, like if this isn't a connection that's currently together, I'm not saying that they are, or like they're occupied by something else, or like they just don't have the emotional awareness and capacity to be vulnerable and open up. But it's like they're very stuck in that. They're very stubborn about that. And that's why, like, this is what causes them to continuously cross your boundaries. Because I feel like you're very aware of that. You're aware that this person is emotionally unavailable. But you invest in it out of hopes that that'll change. This person's energy toward Aries, because like I said, you're aware of what's going on here. This person's energy toward Aries. See, your soul's burnt out because you're wanting things to change, but with the Magician in reverse, this is literally saying that, like, this person doesn't have the tools. The tools to make like, that's why people go to therapy, right? That's why people go to therapy, to learn to be vulnerable, to learn to open up, to learn to face those side of themselves, like that side of themselves. Like, this person doesn't have the tools to be what it is that you desire and deserve. So you're burnt out because you're waiting for them to make changes that I feel like they're not capable of making at this time and with where they're at. Now, I feel like why it's hard for you to understand is because if you think of like a vibration level or like emotional awareness level, like, I'm not saying you're above them or you're better than them, because that's not the way we should think about our healing, but it's like you're up here, right? You have a different perspective, you have an open mind, you're a little bit more vulnerable, it's like you have this deeper emotional connection to yourself, and then they're over here. So you're looking at this through the lens of like what you would do or how you would approach a situation. And this person, it's like they just don't have that same level of awareness that you do. Like, that's what they're missing, the tools to be able to meet you on the level that you're at. You're asking them to be more like you, essentially, in an emotional level. And like, they're just, like, they lack the tools to be able to do that. They haven't done the healing. They haven't grown. They haven't gone to therapy, if that's what's necessary, in order to do that. Because it's like you're looking for what they're incapable of, what they're not capable of giving. This person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. So they're disappointed with how things are. And it's like they don't like where this connection is right now either. It's crossed. They don't like how this connection is either. But then they have this death in reverse. But they're not, it's like the hesitation or almost resistance to change. So you know things need to change. They know things need to change. Neither person wants to make the change. You don't want to walk away. You don't want to set boundaries. You don't want to risk the connection ending. They don't want to open up. They don't want to be vulnerable. You know, they don't want to communicate. They don't want to risk getting hurt. Which is why things in this connection are at an impasse. Both of you are wanting things to change and be different, but neither person is wanting to face those changes. And I get that. I've been there. Hey, Ellie. Sorry, my dog is freaking out because our neighbor's dogs are outside. Hey, guys, no thank you. That's okay. Lay down. We're good. She like 90-pound German Shepherd just standing up on the back of the couch. Yeah, you. All right, this person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. This person's energy toward Aries. Self-saboteur. They have love for you. Two of Cups. They do care about this connection. If they've hurt you, I certainly don't think that was or is their intention. I feel like this person tends to sabotage things that are good for them. And unfortunately, that has been this connection. And maybe you know that. And maybe that's why there's this part of you that's holding on to like, oh, things could be different. Like they could really change if they learned how to be vulnerable and open up and be honest and not, make these mistakes. Then like things could be really good. Hey, guys, no, thank you. But it's like they're dealing with their inability to give and receive love. Sorry, I have 4 dogs, so they're bound to come up in these readings. And that goes back to like they have love, they want the love in this connection, but they're like they don't have the tools. Like they're literally not capable. That's one of the best things my therapist ever taught me, and I talk about this in my readings sometimes, is that we cannot take personally what other people are incapable of. If other people aren't capable of being emotionally available and showing up for us in the way that we deserve because of their own trauma, their own stuff, we can have empathy all day long and we can understand, why they are the way they are. We can have unconditional love. We should have those things. But that does not mean that we have to accept that behavior. And that's the difference between unconditional love and unconditional tolerance. You can love someone unconditionally and still love yourself unconditionally enough to set boundaries in association with that person's behavior. Giving someone a second chance is a fantastic thing to do, but when you start handing out 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th chances, you're no longer giving them a chance, you're enabling a dynamic. And when that's the case, that's when you have to take a look at like, okay, what's really going on? I keep hoping that things are going to change. I keep hoping this person is going to, be different. They, I know they have feelings for me. I know they love me. I know that they care about me. I know that they want this to work, but yet they keep proving that they can't be what it is that I deserve and desire. So like, then you have to look at it and be like, okay, so what do I do with that information? I've given them enough chances. I've been honest about what I need. And now I have to make a decision that's best for me, knowing with what information they've provided me with. I think so many people go into relationships thinking that they can change the other person. I think a lot of people do that. thinking that like the other person will change, and like they see this potential, and oh, if they change and they grow, then like they'll be perfect, you know, then like finally this connection will come together in a healthy manner. Looking for or investing in something for the potential of what someone could be is investing in someone that doesn't exist. And that's when, like, yes, the way that they're handling this, it's not right, and yeah, they have to take accountability for their actions and so on and so forth, but you can't force them to do that. You can't control anyone, right? People are going to do what they're going to do. Literally the best thing that has ever happened for me in my relationships is to let people be who they are and then adjust my proximity accordingly. It sounds selfish, but that's what we're taught to believe, is that sticking up for what is best for us is selfish. This person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. They're very triggered by this connection. I feel like it, it does trigger their lack of vulnerability. Because obviously you do want things to change, and I feel like they know that. I feel like they know they want you to be more vulnerable. They know that you want them to be more vulnerable, that they need to stop sabotaging and things like that. But there's a reason that they do that, right? People sabotage because they don't feel they're deserving of good things, so they push it away before it can hurt them. That's why most people aren't vulnerable in connections, is because it's easier to put on a mask and have the mask get rejected than show up as your most vulnerable self and have that get rejected, because that hurts worse than having who isn't really you get rejected. But what I'm getting at is, I feel like this connection like pushed them out of that, like was trying to push them to be more vulnerable, to learn to commit, to be honest with themselves and things like that. And that's very triggering for them, because that makes them feel very out of control. And people who need control in connections will do what they have to do to regain that control. It could come out in the form of manipulation, infidelity, or just straight up being a controlling person. So I do feel like there's a lot more going on with this person than just the black and white of like, oh, they're making these mistakes, or they've done these things wrong, or they've done these things to hurt me. Like, I don't feel like it's intentional at all. I don't think this is a bad person. I think that this person is very deeply hurt and doesn't know themselves, doesn't love themselves, and unfortunately, people can only meet us where they're at today. People can only love us to the extent they love themselves, care about us to the extent they care about themselves. And if this person isn't making these changes for themselves, emotional vulnerability is a gift to self, because that opens you up to experiencing love and all of the wonderful things that it has to offer. But if you're not willing to do that for yourself, you're not going to be willing to do that for somebody else. And I feel like that's where they're at right now. Is it's almost like they want it, but they don't have the tools to gain it. And the more that you try to pull that out of them, the more frustrating this cycle gets for you. This person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries, please. This person's got baggage. Baggage that they haven't healed or moved on from. I feel like that's the biggest thing here. That's why, they've got this like 10 of swords in their back pocket. This hurt from childhood or past relationships or something, and they're just like, they're acting from a place of either expecting that to repeat itself or doing whatever they can to make sure that it doesn't repeat itself. And so much of this, Aries, is outside of your control. And I feel like there's this part of you that's holding on to this person changing and feeling like them not changing means that you're not good enough, or that they don't see your value, or that they don't love you enough. It has very little to do with you. And that's why changes have to be made here, is because you do deserve better than this. And there's a need to recognize that and act in, alignment with that. Even if it's just starting with speaking up about what it is that you need. Setting boundaries, yes, first of all, but then standing by those boundaries. You see all the time in relationships those empty threats, like, if you do this again, I'm going to have to walk away, or if this happens again, setting boundaries is hard. Standing by those boundaries is even harder. So I get why I feel like you're struggling with those in this connection, because I do feel like you very much love and care about this person. but you need to make sure you have that same love and care for yourself too. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. You have changes will be made with the Page of Cups in reverse. Looking at the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and I have an advice card to pull at the end. Thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Aries, I wish you absolutely nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aries.